nation to be part owners or owners of those lines. We're not going. So that's the future, and the future is today. So we for so long we sign contracts and we just get pennies on the dollar in terms of monies that we get in return. So any kind of natural resource development is that we will really work hard to make sure that the Navajo Nation owns those natural resources and anything that goes in the ground or above the ground. We want Navajo EPA right there alongside any of these development. They need to be present through the entire process. Impacted chapters. We have a lot of chapters that will be impacted. We want to make sure that they are at the table in any discussion that is being made. Chapters I want to see signatures of our chapter leaders on these agreements, not just leaders in Windarot, so that we make sure that they are part of those decision-making deals are being made. But then the question goes to, who makes the most money out of this? Is it the people that live alongside the pipeline? Who's the one that benefits the most? The big thing that we continue need to address are health issues. So the health issue, not just for the current generation, but for generations to come. Those are the ones that we need to always be concerned about. Reclamation. People that come and do these things disturb our land. When they leave, they leave without really reclaiming the land like it should be reclaimed. They leave all their stuff behind, and then they move on to the next area to disturb. One of the biggest complaints that I received the last 4 years as council delegate from the people that live along this area are roads. So there's so much traffic back and forth. And so if the people that run those trucks, if they're really concerned about Navajo people, they would have built the roads necessary. That tells you who you're dealing with. That tells you whether they really mean what they say or not. Because I don't know how long oil has been extracted, but what kind of benefit has a community in terms of roads, Iggy? So that's a testimony on who we're dealing with. So we need to get back to the table and really look at some of these things. The Ilatis, what the Ilatis tell me is this. These contracts that we sign, we didn't completely understand line by line what we signed. And if the lights were on, I would have asked this question. How many of you have oil wells pumping on your allotted land? How many of you have oil that is being extracted from your allotted land today? That's the question. The online is up on online is not. The Kage had a Nikini Kaya, says what Libet Lango Perso Beto, on laid one out there. Edo hot Eda. That is wrong. That's not how you treat the people that live. So you Alatis, stand your ground. Make sure that you get every penny that you should get from the oil that's being extracted from around your area. And let me just make one more statement. Is future investment. Le Nasco, all the drilling and all the wells are being put in the ground. How will it benefit the future generation? Who has sat down and said, this is what we're going to do so that all the activity that's going on, the millions of dollars are being generated. How will that impact future generation? We need to sit down. You guys need to sit down and start talking about the future. Thank you.
Mrs. Murphy has kindly agreed to allow everyone to stay a little longer so that we can get through our list of commenters. So thank you, Mrs. Murphy. Our next commenter is Frank the Gay. After that, we have Ani Rushalow. Frank?
Hello, everybody, and good afternoon. My name is Frank Wabigate. I grew up on the reservation as well as that I grew up and worked around the eastern part of eastern Lybrook. I knew a lot of people. Public what we're dealing with is a double-bladed sword. We move one way or move it the other way, it's going to cause disruption. Either you get cut because they cut your job off. It doesn't give you revenues or it doesn't give you what you want. So that's the question that we all have to answer. But the thing that we're dealing with is destruction. You can tell me that there's no destruction to the Mother Earth. It is. I have lived and I have seen a lot of disruption to the U.S. government, even our nation done that because of open coal mining. When I see it, there's no trees growing back. I work for the Forest Service and I love trees. It gives something back, but it takes something in too, carbon monoxide, and it cleans the air. So if you disrupt something, where is it going to take us in 20 years? All the people that's going to generate employment from the project, the double-bladed sword, is going to leave. You're going to go off somewhere else and get another job. We, the people that live in the area, is going to raise and be born with it because we have health issues from previous destructions. Even the power plant. Where's the money going to? Yeah, it goes to individual. Makes their life better, yeah. But they won't take it to their next life. That's always been saying to our elderly, what they said to us. Yeah, you can be a perfect man with a perfect health, but once you leave this life of yours, you're not taking paradise. You're not taking anything with you. You're just taking what you got, and it's going to put you back in the ground. That's the old saying of what we learn. So as being a native, we have to honor what is given to us. It's given to us by saying we live in peace. But if we disrupt it, what is it doing for us? What is it doing? Making you famous? Give you another pair of vehicle, or will give you a new 4-wheel drive? But those vehicles will break down. Yeah, you can pay it off and then you can sell it, yeah. You can make extra money off of it. But the consequences is it destroys your confidence of what you are. Then you are going to be raising higher. Your expectation is going to be higher. You want more money. That's what happens to all of us. So think about it as individual. You want to, yeah, there's a double-bladed sword. It'll cut you, it'll cut a wound. Does it heal good? Sometimes it doesn't. The infection will come in, will take your life. But you won't, I'll guarantee you that it's not going to quit hurting because it's going to be embedded in your mind. So I leave it at that, making you understand that as peaceful as my Native friends are, we leave it as that. We don't want no more destruction because I think it has done its part. When is it going to stop? You've seen a lot of things, I shared a lot of things about saying that there is safety involved. Yeah, but look what happened down in southern New Mexico. There's a pipeline that went through certain areas and peacefully. Some people were recreationing out there. The whole thing exploded for no cause. They said, oh, that passed the test 2 weeks ago or something. It does happen, people. I've been down in southern New Mexico, coming back, and you talk about traffic. I got run over, almost got run over by a diesel truck. I was minding my own business being on the road. But what happened? I got almost bumped off. The vehicle is bigger than me. I mean, the truck was bigger than my vehicle. That's what happened. So accidents will happen. You can't assure me that nothing's going to happen. But people, yeah, you can create jobs. What are you going to do when it's done? You're just going to mosey on down the road. And then we're going to live with it. That's what you got to all have to answer. Thank you.
Ani Rushlow, is Ani here? Yeah, right here. Okay. After Ani, we have Kimberly Howe. Rebecca?
Can someone shoot some video? Oh, thank you.
You all work exceptionally hard to maintain good-paying jobs here. We have the desire for great jobs in common, don't we? We all want a healthy economic picture and healthy economic development. With what I'm about to reveal to you, and those of you having back conversations in the back, I'd like to ask you to listen. You will feel a need to take a more courageous stance about your direction. Biologist Sandra Steingraber says that we have radically altered methane levels to 3 times the normal acidifying of our oceans, 30% more than what they should be to fully support life. Due to this acidification, plankton are dying. Plankton provides us half of the oxygen that we breathe, and those depleted plankton stocks are now in trouble. That's about 50% of the oxygen is rapidly being destroyed. The very plankton that produces the oxygen of our every other breath is being destroyed. Steingraber, this biologist, she tells us that we have a window of about 14 years to turn the tide. That is why the biologists are alarmed about more drilling and more dependence on fossil fuels. Let's think about ourselves as a species for a moment. Charles Darwin observed, "It is not the strongest species that survive. It's not the most intelligent, but ones that are responsive to change." You have the power, every one of you in this room, to usher in a day of clean and breathable energy for your children and for generations of New Mexicans. If you stop this pipeline, it is a line that we can draw. A pro-health, carbon-clean, financially sound decision may not be safe, nor politic, nor popular in your political circles. But your conscience is what you have to live with the rest of your days. The shape of the climate crisis does not permit us this luxury of soft-mindedness and the continual caving in to the reliance on fossil fuel. It's time for renewable energy. You may feel paralyzing fear in shifting your moral position. Everyone around you, the welders, the pipeline builders, everyone around you says, go. You walk, but you may feel this paralyzing feeling, but we are here to support you. You will not walk alone as you stand tall amid the trials of the inevitable shift away from fossil fuels. You may have the opportunity to rid yourself of trepidation, and instead you can harness and master the fear. Your decision regarding the pipeline will either deepen our dependence on fossil fuel, or it could courageously expand the New Mexico economy through renewable energy. Remember, history is written by the innovators, not those who dig their heels in. You are already completely aware that liberal and conservative people are waking up to the reality of the damaging effect of fossil fuels on our health and our environments. States and nations around the world are far ahead of the curve on renewable energy than is New Mexico. Germany, Saudi Arabia, Japan, China, Washington. And according to the U.S. Department of Energy, New Jersey, Nevada, North Dakota, South Dakota, Iowa, Maine, Washington, Oregon, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, New York, Florida, Tennessee, California, Missouri, Kentucky, Rhode Island, Georgia, and the list goes on of the states that are ahead on renewable energy than in this very sunny and windy state where we could be the Saudi Arabia of solar energy if we stop here. You must also decide whether or not to be the fossil fuel industry's instrument. This is the opportunity for wise leadership on your part. And in the end, at the end of your time on Earth, all you and your family have are your dignity. And then when you reflect back on what this pipeline did to the people here, and that you didn't take the opportunity to stop the pipeline and to embrace the movement forward that the rest of the world is going through, you will reflect on today and this time and the chance that you had that maybe you passed by. I have a friend in Wichita, Kansas. She said that she has grown up there. In the last 3 years that she has lived there since the fracking started, she experiences one earthquake after the other. What will that do to Chaco Canyon?
Thank you
This
so much.
is sacred land. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Kimberly Howe here. Kimberly? Woo! Right after Kimberly, we have Rob, Joe.
Kimberly Howe and Shia, my plans are Lokatanaa, Tachini Bashishchi, Hawantana, and Tora Koja. I'm here to represent the group back there, we're a group of young Diné youth, and we are on a journey for existence. One thing I want to mention is I've been learning from the community members here. There's 5-year-olds, 9-year-olds, 15-year-olds, and 17-year-olds. Their voices are too small here. So I want to share some stories that I've learned from them. I've learned from a 5-year-old and a 9-year-old that the fracking flares smell and they don't like the traffic. And I've also learned that when there was an oil spill at their school, it interfered with their Christmas program. You know, that's important to some families. That's bonding. That's And I want to mention that the 15-year-old told me that her grandparents told her not to stray far from home, or else the men hauling the oil will come, rape them, and murder them. I want to also mention that these girls, you know, if they can understand it at such a young age, why can't we as adults? You know, it's that important. These are sacred sites. We need to think about the water. Water is life. Protect the sacred. Dora fracking. It's so heartbreaking. I am not from this community, but they are exploratory drilling from where I'm from, around Pinyon. And if this continues, what do we have for the children? What is it going to look like in 10 years? We don't have that time. You know, I just learned from one of my sisters back there. If there's a boom, an oil boom, there is going to be a bust. And that bust is going to look something like the Great Depression. You know, read about it. It's out there. So that's what I have to share with you guys today, you know. I'm learning more, and I will share more if you guys are interested. The community members need to be heard. Thank you.
Rob, thanks, Rob. Next, after Rob, we have Rebecca.
Yata education that ki anin slo tutso ni bashin tuchi ni da change console that's another. This is for Lybrook and BLM. Two of our elder statesmen requested that I say a few words on their behalf. Mr. Henry Barber, president of the Navajo Nation Medicine Man Association, and the other gentleman, Daniel So, longtime Navajo Nation Council delegate. What they wanted to know was they want to understand fracking. They want to understand upstream, midstream, downstream, and how does that relate to the project here. What we're hearing as everyone comes up and speak is that people talk about bits and